Hi, I'm John Alexandrov. I'm here with Julie Etter today from Prudential Page Realty. And Julie, I've got all kinds of questions to ask you. You know, we're into the new year, 2014, but before we talk about your forecasts and projections for what's going to happen in the market in 2014, and by the way, I went back and looked at our recording that we did earlier in 2013, and you were right on.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will go back and take a look at that and match that up to what we're talking about today. But your forecast was dead on, which is great. But all kinds of things have happened in your personal life in the past year. And most important, obvious, which is having your baby DJ, who's now 5.5 months?
He's almost 6 months old.
Yeah, 6 months old now in January of 2014. And obviously that's just been phenomenal for you and Tim. And then, of course, everyone knows about writing the book.
Right. Yeah.
And you bought a new home.
Yep.
Business-wise, you made the Chairman's Club for Prudential.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of great things happening for you. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, how do you do it all? Because I'm sure people say, well, Julie, she's active in the community. I see her doing book signings. You know, I see her with DJ. She's playing soccer. I mean, how do you do it all?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of scheduling, but, I mean, you could talk about time management, but everything that you just mentioned are things I'm so passionate about. So it's just how I want to spend my time.
Well, that's kind of that's interesting to me because, Julie, you know, as a coach, I coach many very successful people like yourself, and this main theme keeps coming up when I ask a similar question, and they basically say, well, I just get up every day and do what I'm supposed to do, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm passionate about it. You know, when you are passionate about something, it just doesn't seem like it's a drag.
It's not
on you.
a chore, right? It's fun. All those things you mentioned have been great, but it was so much fun. You know.
Well, you know, I want to actually take you back to something you said to me a couple months ago when you were buying your new home. And you said to me, this has given me a whole new appreciation for what my clients go through. I mean, you've purchased properties before, but for some reason this one made you really stop and say, wow, I really understand now what the sellers and buyers are really going through when I'm working with them.
Yeah, I mean, you look at your goal, and that's why I always tell people, what's the goal on the other end? Let that guide you, because as much as I was very fortunate, my house went on the market and priced it right, it went under agreement within a few days. But it's still, you know, I didn't have someone, I always say as a realtor, one of the biggest things I do is filter out the emotion and make sure we're focused on the business. I was fully immersed in the emotion and the business and the coordination we have a showing, make sure the house is picked up, you know, the baby's in the car, or, you know, you're there for the home inspection, and was trying to do it all with Tim, but the empathy of just lining up the logistics of my profession, and it was my personal life all in one with the transaction.
And
so,
DJ was only 3 months old at the time, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And you were planning a christening, the holidays were coming up.
Everything, yeah.
So that really puts you in that same perspective, I'd say.
Right, and that all started in September. In September, that was when, you know, Tim went back to school, and we had planned the routines of what the workday was going to be. And then this house came on the market, and then I released the book September 9th, so it was between the book release, getting into a routine of back to school, and then buying the house, selling the house, and here we are.
Here we are. Well, you did it all. But here's the other thing you just said. You know, as you know, Julie, I listen to every single word, you know, that you say, and the voice inflection, and you say, and I priced my house right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what a great lesson, you know, for potential clients or clients of yours who are watching this right now. I mean, it almost always boils down to that when you're selling a property, right? You priced it right, and you said it was under agreement within
3 days.
Within 3 days,
right?
You know, and you pretty much got the price that you were expecting as well.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that's a great lesson. Now, I want to go back and recap 2013. You know, from the real estate perspective.
Okay.
Because at the beginning of the year last year, you and I spoke, and you talked about how you thought it was going to be a very good year in real estate. Property values were increasing. For some reason in the area that you work, it's like North Attleboro, Norton, Rentham,
Norfolk.
that whole area, you know, the market has been very strong there, and you projected that. Sure enough, you went out and had your best year ever in real estate. But are the same dynamics there now, Julie, as were there a year ago, do you think?
Yeah,
in terms
well,
of, the market?
It's still there, but with the lack of inventory we had in 2013, we were seeing multiple offers. We were seeing over-asking, under agreement, over-asking sales prices. So that naturally brought the prices up. So as the market has grown and the prices have grown, it has brought a lot of people who were previously underwater now, at least floating pretty comfortably to be able to make the move. And
so what you mean is they have more equity in their homes now, whereas a year ago that might not have been there. So the trend is in that direction, right?
Yeah. Right. And a lot of people have. There's always the mindset of spring market, spring market, spring market, and people call me and say, Julie, I want to put my house on in the spring, and I say, why wait?
Right.
Why wait till you have more competition? Because there's plenty of people who have that mindset versus if you put it on when you're ready. I always tell people, I'll tell you all the real estate ideals, you have to line up your life with it.
Right.
But get a leg up on the competition. And so I think this year you are going to see some more homes on the market, but it's not going to be the influx of 2005.
Well, what we're noticing in different parts of the country, and it is starting to hit here a little bit, is interest rates starting to creep up. And in addition to that, as of actually today, there are some new mortgage rules that have come out that maybe might make it a little bit more difficult for people to borrow money.
Right.
So the debt-to-income ratio rules have changed. People have to qualify for mortgages differently, unless they're using a government-backed program like FHA or maybe mass housing. And even in those cases, the guarantee fees they have to pay to get the loan guaranteed have gone up. So it's going to be a little bit more costly for borrowers to borrow money. Do you see that impacting things? Or?
Well, you can see the affordability changes, obviously with higher interest rates and now prices creeping up. And I tell people, prices aren't going to double, overnight. Right. This is a gradual increase we've been watching, for the past year. But those two things do lower your affordability and the type of house you could go into.